Incredible moment revealed, little girl's touching act of kindness changes everything for a single heart. As autumn leaves danced along the cracked sidewalks of Harmony Falls, the crisp air filled with giggles and the warm scent of apple cider. Lily, an 8-year-old dreamer with a smile that could melt the iciest hearts, ambled down Main Street, her backpack bouncing with every cheerful step. Yet behind her laughter lingered the heavy truth of her family's struggles. Her dad had lost his factory job, and the weight of the worry seeped into their small home, like the chill of late October, but Lily carried her parents' close lessons of kindness, resilience, and the strength found in community. At the local diner, where laughter and camaraderie blended with the aroma of fresh pancakes, townsfolk gathered, sharing not just meals but unspoken support. The diner was their refuge, a place where troubles melted away, if only for a moment. One day, while heading home, Lily's eyes caught sight of Mr. Sam, the kind-hearted war veteran who frequently sat at the diner's corner booth. His hands trembled as he clutched a half-eaten piece of pie, and his tired smile barely concealed the shadows of hard times. He had become part of the town's fabric, and Lily, with her big heart, felt the urgency to help. The idea bloomed like the vibrant colors of fall, a bake sale to gather funds for Mr. Sam. Eager to act, she confided in her closest friends, and together they spread the word throughout Harmony Falls. People began to rally, donating cookies, pies, and stories of their own tough times. Each item came wrapped in warmth, creating a beautiful tapestry of kindness that shimmered against the backdrop of the golden leaves, but not everyone was impressed. Some adults, burdened by their own burdens, dismissed Lily's idea. "What can a bake sale do?" they scoffed. Doubt crept in, kicking at Lily's determination. On a quiet afternoon, feeling the weight of their words, she sat by the trees in the park, heart heavy, when fate stepped in. Sam approached, sensing her turmoil. His voice was soft but powerful. "You know, young lady, even the tiniest spark can ignite the brightest flame," he said, his wise eyes twinkling. He shared his tales of resilience, reminding her that hope is contagious. With renewed spirit, Lily found her fire again, just as everything seemed aligned for the bake sale. Trouble struck. The bakery's oven broke, and panic surged through Lily. She could feel the heartbeat of the entire town in her chest, the laughter fading into anxious whispers. As chaos loomed, she stood at a crossroads, determination battling doubt within her heart. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Each day led her closer to the sale, yet tension crackled in the air. Peers and townsfolk wrestled with their own fears. Yet amidst the doubt, a single brave girl, Lily, emerged as a beacon of courage. She believed that change could sprout from the smallest of seeds. The day of the bake sale arrived, and the town buzzed with excitement mixed with fear. Each baker's good intentions and warm smiles hung in the atmosphere, but lingering skepticism weighed against their hopes. Then, as the sun dipped lower, revealing a breathtaking canvas of fiery leaves, an unexpected twist emerged, one that challenged the community's heart and Lily's steadfast spirit. What shocking revelation would shake Harmony Falls to its core? Would they come together, fueled by kindness, or would differences pull them apart before true compassion could shine? The heartwarming adventure of this little girl was just beginning. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue across Harmony Falls, the townsfolk gathered outside the diner. Tables were set up, adorned with vibrant tablecloths and a delightful array of baked goods. The sweet scent of cinnamon and sugar danced in the air, mingling with the chatter of excited children and the warm laughter of neighbors who hadn't seen each other in a while. Yet, beneath the cheerful surface, an undercurrent of apprehension ran through the crowd. Lily stood at the front, her heart racing. She looked at the display, her creations made with love and hope. The brownies, cookies, and cupcakes sparkled like tiny treasures under the afternoon sun. But as the moments ticked by, the initial excitement began to wane. The line of eager buyers wasn't forming as she had dreamed. "What if nobody comes?" whispered Anna, one of Lily's best friends, who stood beside her, fidgeting with a napkin. Before Lily could respond, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. All eyes turned to the diner's entrance, where Mrs. Peterson, the town's longtime mayor, stepped forward. But it wasn't her presence that stole the breath from the air, it was the news she carried. "We need to talk," she called out, her voice strained but commanding. Lily's stomach dropped. Whispers swirled through the crowd like a brewing storm. "Is it about the bake sale?" One voice piped up, the mayor cleared her throat. "No, it's about Mr. Sam." The crowd leaned in closer. Lily's heart pounded fiercely. Did something happen to him? The thought twisted in her stomach. "Mr. Sam has been hospitalized," Mrs. Peterson continued, anger and sadness brewing in her eyes. "He was found collapsed at the diner after not having enough to eat." Gasps erupted, and in that moment, time stood still. The chatter, the laughter, it all faded into a solemn silence. Gazes shifted, falling upon Lily. Her dream of raising funds to help Mr. Sam now felt even more urgent, but also weighed down by the collective despair. Lily felt tears prick her eyes. She wanted to scream, to shake the doubt from her friends, to remind everyone why they had come together in the first place. If Mr. Sam needed them, they needed to show up. "The bake sale is still on," she shouted, her voice steady despite the tremble in her heart. "We have to do this for Mr. Sam. He's always been there for us." In that moment, the tide began to turn. One by one, expressions shifted from grief to determination. People began to rally around Lily's strong spirit. They dug in their pockets, not just for change but for their hope. The bake sale was no longer just about the treats, it had transformed into a lifeline, a way to reach out to a beloved member of their community. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows, money began to collect, and so did stories of goodwill. Townsfolk shared their own hardships, reminded that they weren't alone. They understood that kindness could spark even in darkened times, but just as Lily felt a swell of hope, she noticed a familiar face slipping into the back of the crowd. It was Timmy, the boy who used to be her best friend but hadn't spoken to her in months. Something flickered in his eyes. Was it resentment or regret? Lily's heart raced again. Could they finally mend their broken bond? What would Timmy's presence mean for her spirit and the sale? She swallowed hard, aware that this moment could change everything, not just for Mr. Sam, but for herself too. As the bake sale carried on, the excitement crackled in the air once more. But in the heart of the crowd, a deeper question loomed: would they find comfort in coming together, or would old wounds and grievances resurface and tear them apart? The adventure of compassion was about to rewrite itself. Lily's gaze lingered on Timmy, who stood at the edge of the crowd, hands shoved deep into his pockets. His brow was knitted in thought, an impassive look that could mean anything. She could feel her heart in her throat, a complicated mix of hope and fear. Would he just slip away again, or could there be a chance for reconciliation? "Lily, look." Anna tugged at her sleeve. "It's picking up." Lily turned, excitement flooding her. Several townsfolk had gathered, forming a line that grew longer by the second. She couldn't believe it, people were coming back. With renewed determination, Lily took a deep breath, focusing on the faces in front of her, each person a reminder of what they were all fighting for. "Remember," she called out, her voice cleaving through the hum of chatter, "every penny goes to help Mr. Sam." The crowd responded with cheers, some waving fivers and coins. She felt the joy swell in her chest as more people stepped forward. It was magical, witnessing old friends reconnect over simple acts of generosity. Laughter flitted through the air, a sweet counter to the heaviness that had lingered just moments ago, but amidst the excitement, Lily's eyes kept darting back to Timmy. Why had he stayed? Was he still hurt over their fallout? Her mind raced with memories of laughter shattered by misunderstandings. Fighting her hesitation, she took a step toward him. She needed to know, to reach out. "Timmy!" she called, her voice cutting through the din. He looked up, surprise and something softer crossing his features. The distance between them felt both miles and moments away. "I am really glad you're here," she fumbled, words spilling out in a rush. "I know things have been rough between us." Timmy shifted on his feet, glancing down as if weighing her words. "Yeah, I guess they have," he replied, almost a whisper. "We can fix this," she breathed out, her heart hammering in her chest. "Together. For Mr. Sam. And us." Out of the corner of her eye, Lily noticed Mrs. Peterson walk toward them with purpose. The mayor's serious demeanor didn't escape anyone's notice, and the crowd began to settle, curiosity piqued. "Folks," Mrs. Peterson called out, "I just talked to the hospital, and Mr. Sam is awake. He's asked for us, and I think we should give him a special surprise." The news washed over the crowd like a warm blanket. Relief and joy burst forth in cheers and applause, as laughter filled the air once more. With the pulse of life dancing back, their collective hope bloomed, but just as Lily felt the tide of emotions turning, she caught sight of Timmy's expression, his eyes darting back and forth, conflicted. "What do you think he'll say when he sees all of us?" he asked, uncertainty dripping from each word. Lily wasn't sure how to answer. Maybe Mr. Sam would be relieved, or he could feel burdened by the attention. "Maybe he'll feel the love," she said softly, feeling the weight of the moment, "and maybe he'll share something important." As they shared a glance, understanding passed between them. They both knew it wasn't just about acting but also about mending. This bake sale had awakened something deeper, a connection to one another, to community, and even to healing old wounds. But just as Lily thought they were moving forward, a familiar face appeared in the distance, one she never expected to see. It was Mr. Sam's niece, Sarah, running toward them. Her face was pale, and dread traced her footsteps. "What's wrong?" Lily's voice trembled as she took a step forward. "What happened?" Timmy stood beside her, worry etching his features. As Sarah, short of breath, her eyes darted back to the diner, something heavy hung between them. I think you all need to know something about Mr. Sam." Lily's heart dropped, the weight of uncertainty crashing down on her. What could possibly change this moment? The crowd sensed the shift too as whispers erupted, anticipation thickening the air. They were on the brink of something new, and it felt like everything was about to unfold. Lily felt the world slow down around her as Sarah's words hung in the air. The excitement of the crowd shifted into a dense fog of worry. She instinctively stepped closer to Timmy, their shoulders brushing, a small comfort against the rising tension. "Sarah, what do you mean?" Lily's voice was shaky, but she pressed forward, unwilling to let fear control the moment. "What about Mr. Sam?" Sarah, still catching her breath, glanced around as if searching for the right words. He's awake, yes, but..." Her eyes filled with tears. "He's not the same. He's in a lot of pain, and he confided in me something really important before he fell asleep again." The crowd murmured, worry rippling through the group like a wave. Lily's heart sank. It felt as if the ground beneath her was shifting, cracking open some deep well of anxiety. "Is he going to be okay?" Timmy's voice was barely above a whisper, full of concern. Lily looked at him, heart aching at the sight of his worry. They were both connected by this moment, both holding on to hope while fear clutched at their hearts. "It's more than just physical pain," Sarah continued, her voice quivering. "Mr. Sam shared something with me, about the diner and why he needed our help." She hesitated, glancing at the people around her. "He's scared. Afraid that if he can't recover, he'll lose everything he's built. The diner isn't just a place to serve food, it's his home, and our home." Lily exchanged glances with Timmy, her mind racing at the implications. The diner. The community. The life they all shared. It suddenly felt like a fragile web held together by memories, laughter, and connection, now at the edge of unraveling. "Is there anything we can do?" Lily asked, the question trembling on her lips. She felt the rising urgency, a flicker of resolve lighting inside her like a flame catching wind. Sarah nodded, her expression shifting to one of determination. "We need him to see he's not alone. That we're all here, together. Maybe if we show him just how much he means to us, he can find the strength to fight." The crowd, listening intently, exchanged hopeful glances. It was clear now that the bake sale was bigger than they had imagined. It was a lifeline, a chance to show Mr. Sam the impact he made on all of their lives. Lily's heart swelled with renewed purpose. "We need to plan something special," she declared, raising her voice so everyone could hear. "Not just for Mr. Sam's health, but to remind him that he is loved and cherished." "Yes!" someone shouted from the back, and a ripple of agreement surged through the crowd. Timmy stepped closer, a brightness in his eyes. "Let us gather stories, memories. The laughter, the moments, let us show him that he is not a burden, he is the heart of this place." Lily felt the warmth spread through her. They were all in this together, just like she and Timmy had always been meant to be. With each voice in the crowd rising in unison, she knew they could lift Mr. Sam's spirits, but yet, as the cheers erupted and plans formed, a chilling thought occurred to her. What if Mr. Sam couldn't bear the weight of their expectations? What if, despite their best efforts, he felt overwhelmed by the love they crowded around him? As she watched Sarah nodding alongside her, Lily felt the weight of possibility settle in. The urgency surged again. There was so much to do, but so many unknowns ahead. They had to act quickly. They had to make the plan perfect, but just as Lily started to think ahead, a distant siren sounded in the air. It grew steadily closer, pulling her focus. Her heart raced again, anxiety creeping back in. What was happening now? "Lily?" Timmy's voice, sharp with concern, pulled her from her thoughts. "Do you think?" She turned to him, her mind racing. The sirens meant trouble, and the crowd around them felt it too. The moment of joy was now fraught with fear. What was coming next? Was their hope about to be challenged once again? As uncertainty filled the air, a connection snapped between them, leaving them standing at the threshold of both hope and worry. What did the sirens signal? Did they have enough strength left to face whatever was coming? The sirens grew louder, drowning out the buzz of anticipation that had filled the air just moments before. Lily's heart beat faster, each thump echoing the dread creeping into her chest. Timmy's grip on her hand tightened, and she could see the worry etched on his face. "What do you think is happening?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Lily shook her head, unable to answer. The crowd shifted uneasily, eyes darting toward the sounds. Faces that had been lit with hope were now shadowed with concern. Just as anxiety began to grip her fully, the sirens turned into a cacophony of voices, pulling her focus away from the rising tide of worry. Then they saw it. A fire truck turned the corner, lights flashing wildly as it neared the diner. The gasps echoed through the crowd, panic weaving its way into the fabric of their collective consciousness. Mr. Sam's place, their home, stood in jeopardy. "Is the diner on fire?" someone called out, voice trembling, triggering a wave of renewed fear. Lily could feel her heart racing, its cadence matched by the clamor of sirens. Just moments ago, they were filled with resolve, plotting a plan to lift Mr. Sam's spirits. Now, everything felt like it was about to collapse under the weight of calamity. Timmy's fingers slipped from hers. "I have to see," he blurted, pushing his way through the crowd. The mix of fear and instinct guiding his small body forward. Lily hurried after him, urgency fueling her steps. As they reached the front of the diner, the scene unfolded. Firefighters were dashing in and out, thick smoke curling into the air. The air was heavy, the acrid scent of soot choking her, each breath like a weight on her chest. She caught sight of Mr. Sam's car, untouched, parked out front, but the diner was engulfed in chaos. "Mr. Sam!" she cried out. Where was he? The thought struck like a lightning bolt. He couldn't be alone in there. Stay back. A firefighter yelled, pulling them away. We're handling this. Just clear the area. But Lily couldn't stay back. The din of the crowd grew, words bouncing off one another, a frantic symphony of shock and anxiety. She had to find him. Lily! Timmy shouted from behind, desperately trying to get her attention. Wait! We can't just go in. But Lily was already stepping around the firefighter, pushing through the smoke-stained door into the diner. Her eyes watered from the thick haze, but she breathed deep and pushed forward. The thought of Mr. Sam pushed her on, every instinct urging her to find him. The room was filled with chaos. Chairs were knocked over, and the familiar smell of coffee was mingled with smoke. Climbing over the debris, her heart raced as she called out again, Mr. Sam. Lily? His voice came weakly from behind the counter, thick with fear. Relief washed over her as she spotted him, hunched and trembling, his face pale. She rushed to him, kneeling beside the man who had given her so much. It's okay, Mr. Sam. We're here. We're all here for you. He looked up, pain in his eyes that reached her heart. Lily. I didn't want any of this. A crackle of energy ignited in the air, a low rumble of emotion breaking through the chaos. Behind her, the crowd began to rally as they shouted for help, calling his name, bringing their memories to life. She could feel their love wrapping around her like a warm blanket. Don't you see? You're not alone, Mr. Sam, she said, trying to muster every ounce of strength she had. We're your family. We won't let you go. His gaze locked onto hers, tears brimming, and for a moment, the chaos outside faded. All that mattered was the connection they shared: love, fear, hope. She saw that spark in his eyes begin to flicker to life, but before she could say more, a loud crash echoed from the back of the diner, and the room trembled. The emergency alarm blared. Get out. Now. The firefighters shouted, urgency breaking through the haze of emotions. Lily's heart dropped. They had all come together for Mr. Sam, but as the fear mounted, she realized they might have to leave him behind. Mr. Sam! She cried, panic seeping back in. Could they rescue him in time? Would their hope become a desperate plea? The weight of uncertainty pressed down again as the reality of the moment hit. If they didn't act now, everything they fought for might slip away. The din of the fire alarm continued, piercing through the haze and almost drowning out Lily's desperate voice. Mr. Sam! She shouted again, voicing her panicked thoughts. She could feel time slipping, each tick of the clock echoing loud in her ears, matching the frantic pulse of her heart. I'm here, Lily. Mr. Sam's weak voice came back, but it was tinged with despair. It cut through her resolve, leaving her knees trembling. She pulled him gently, urging him to rise, but the weight of his fear seemed to anchor him to the ground. We have to go. Please. The urgency stung her throat as she looked back to where she thought the exit was. She could barely see through the smoke, but the exit was the beacon of hope she desperately needed. Then Timmy appeared at her side, his small figure standing firm in defiance of the chaos. We can't leave him. His wide eyes shone with determination, fighting against the panic swirling around them. We won't, Lily replied, gripping Mr. Sam's arm tighter. But we need to help him get out. She glanced around, her mind whirling as she assessed their options. Lily felt a rush of protective instinct, fueled by the memories of how much Mr. Sam had always been there for her. The quiet talks over pancakes, the warm smiles every morning, every moment that filled their little diner with warmth. They could not leave him behind. Mr. Sam, can you see the door? She asked, steadying her voice. It's just a few steps. You need to trust us. I don't know if I can. His voice shook, and tears gleamed at the corners of his eyes. You can. Timmy shouted, stepping closer. Look at us. We're right here. The sincerity in his young eyes broke through the fog of dread. The moment seemed to freeze. The smell of smoke thickened, heavy air pressing all around them, but there was a flicker of hope. "Okay," Mr. Sam breathed, gathering whatever strength he had left. "Okay." With a surge of resolve, Lily and Timmy each took one of Mr. Sam's arms, pulling him up from the floor. The panic surged like fire, drifting between them, but together they formed a bridge of strength. "Just a few steps, one at a time," Lily urged, her voice steady amid the chaos. Mr. Sam leaned on them, trembling yet willing. With every step they took, the shadows that once loomed became more manageable, the direction clearer. Outside, the voices from the crowd grew louder, serving as a reminder of unity and hope. As they approached the door, a fresh rush of smoke hit them, fierce and hot. "Get down!" yelled a voice from the outside, breaking through the turmoil. Lily dropped to her knees, helping Mr. Sam onto the floor. "Crawl! We can make it!" she urged him, her heart racing as she looked back towards Timmy, whose face reflected pure determination. Together, they crawled through the haze, the world outside muffled yet vivid with the sounds of love and concern pooling at the edges of her awareness. It felt like fighting through a thick web, each inch a victory against unseen odds. Finally, just as lungs began to labor and strength dwindled, they broke free into the open air. The coolness swept over them like a refreshing wave, contrasting sharply with the heated panic of the diner. Lily breathed deep, her heart soaring as she realized they had made it. For a moment, everything stood still. The crowd erupted into a chorus of cheers and relieved sobs, echoing the joy of survival. But when she looked at Mr. Sam, the tears in his eyes told another story, one of gratitude, of love, but also of the battle still raging within him. Before she could ask if he was okay, Lily's gaze was drawn to the diner, still smoldering behind them, the memory of warmth now tinged with loss. "Lily, what do we do now?" Timmy asked, voice small but desperate. As reality settled in, she realized they would have to confront that loss together. More than just a diner, it was their family, their memories. "We rebuild," she replied, feeling the weight of her promise. Little did she know, a surprisingly powerful ally was about to step forward to change everything. Lily stood there, toasting in the cool air, her heart still racing from the chaos they had escaped. The sight of the diner, once a safe haven now reduced to a shell of charred wood and smoke, sent fresh waves of emotion crashing over her. Timmy squeezed her hand tightly, his small fingers trembling. "But how?" he asked, searching her face for answers. "By working together," she whispered, her voice determined despite the quiver in her throat. "We can gather people, ask for help. We won't let Mr. Sam lose the place he loves." Timmy's eyes lit up, but worry flickered there too. "What if no one wants to help us?" "They will," Lily insisted. "Everyone in this town knows what that diner means to us. To Mr. Sam." They watched as firefighters flooded the scene, dealing with the remnants of their beloved diner. Mr. Sam, still gripping Lily's arm, seemed lost in thought. His gaze was distant, and she could see the turmoil twisting behind his weary eyes. "Mr. Sam," she began, moving closer. "I can't believe it's gone," he murmured, more to himself than to her. "What will I do now?" Lily felt a surge of warmth for him. "You'll rebuild, Mr. Sam. Just like you helped us, we'll help you. We'll make it even better." His eyes met hers, and for a moment, something flickered, a spark of hope. "You really believe that?" "Of course I do," she replied, feeling the weight of her own words. Beneath the haze of despair, they had a chance. Together, they could bring the diner back to life. But before they could discuss plans further, a voice cut through the air, a familiar, booming tone. It was Mrs. Marshall, the town's mayor, marching towards them with a determined expression. "Lily. Timmy. Mr. Sam," she called, rushing over. She surveyed the scene around her, the devastation mingling with the flickers of relief among neighbors who had gathered. "What can we do?" she asked directly, her voice full of authority. Lily's heart fluttered. We need to rebuild the diner. Mrs. Marshall nodded, a determined smile spreading across her face. Then that's what we'll do. We'll start a fundraiser. Get the community involved. This diner means more than just food, it's our heart. Timmy beamed. People will help, right, Mrs. Marshall? Absolutely. She placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. We will organize, we'll bring in supplies, funds, volunteers. We'll make it happen. The realization hung heavy in the air, like the sweet scent of hope rising from the ashes. Thank you, Mrs. Marshall, Mr. Sam said, his voice breaking slightly. It means so much to me. She nodded. You aren't alone in this. Not now, not ever. As plans began to unfold in conversations around them, Lily felt a rush of energy. Her heart still ached, but it beat with renewed purpose. They wouldn't stay buried in despair. Instead, they transformed the loss into something beautiful, something even greater. Timmy tugged at her sleeve. What if we included a new menu? Like a memory section for Mr. Sam's specials? Lily laughed, feeling lighter than she had since the fire. That's brilliant. We can ask everyone for their favorite dish. Suddenly, inspiration filled her. A vision of the diner, bustling with laughter and love, flashed in her mind. But as the optimism swirled around her, one question lingered: would they have enough time, enough resources, to revive everything before the community lost hope? Unbeknownst to them, amidst the excitement, a shadowy figure watched from the edge of the crowd, a frown creasing their brow. The unseen challenge ahead was only beginning to unfold, and it would take more than just heart to overcome it. Lily took a deep breath, the chatter and activity around her feeling like a wave of possibility crashing over her. With a newfound energy, she pulled Timmy close, his small frame steadying her racing thoughts. We need to get moving. Let us talk to everyone we can. We need ideas, we need support. Timmy nodded, enthusiasm blooming on his face. I'll go find Mrs. Johnson. She makes the best pies. Everyone loves her pies. Great idea. Lily exclaimed, watching him run off towards a group of neighbors. She felt a flicker of pride swell within her. They were all going to pitch in, she just knew it'mr. Sam, however, still stood frozen, his eyes clouded as he surveyed the wreckage. I've never lost anything like this before, he said softly, almost to himself. Lily stepped closer, searching for the right words. You won't be alone in this, she affirmed, her voice steady. You have us. We'll work hard to bring it back. The diner was a home for many, and it can be again. Just then, Mrs. Marshall rejoined them, clipboard in hand, the determination that had first drawn Lily to her still shining. I want us to create a community event, a pancake breakfast this Saturday, she declared. All proceeds will go towards rebuilding the diner. A smile broke across Lily's face. That's perfect. We can ask everyone to bring their favorite recipe too. A taste of what we used to have. Behind them, the gathering crowd began murmuring in agreement, faces lighting up with growing enthusiasm. They started pitching in ideas, volunteers forming into small groups ready to get to work. Lily's heart swelled. This was the moment they needed. As they mapped out responsibilities, the pancake breakfast, a bake sale, and even a drive for donations, she stole a glance at Timmy, who was talking animatedly with a small group of children. His excitement radiated across the area like a sunbeam, pulling in smiles from faces that had once looked sorrowed. Suddenly, she spotted the shadowy figure again, lingering just outside the perimeter of the gathering. It was a tall man with a weathered face she vaguely recognized, someone who had been around town for as long as she could remember. The way he tightened his jaw, however, sent a chill down her spine. Something about his presence felt foreboding, and as he turned to slip away from the clamor, curiosity gnawed at her. Who is that? She wondered aloud, feeling the growing anxiety shift through the air. Mrs. Marshall glanced at the man, her brow furrowing. That's Charlie. He used to own the old hardware store before it closed down. Not many people speak to him anymore. He's been through his own losses. Lily nodded, but she couldn't shake the feeling that his indifference to the spirit of the gathering hinted at something deeper. Maybe we should reach out to him, she suggested. He might want to help, maybe he just needs the notice of being part of something again. Mr. Sam overheard and nodded slowly. We all need to feel like we belong, Lily. Maybe bringing him in could encourage others to join us, too. As they finalized their plans for the pancake breakfast, a strong resolve settled in Lily's heart. They would rebuild the diner, but perhaps they could also mend other broken connections in the community along the way. But just as they seemed to have momentum, a loud crash echoed from the direction of the diner ashes, startling everyone into silence. The shadowy figure had reappeared at the edge, watching them with a calculating gaze, and the sense of urgency returned full force. What secrets lay behind his distant eyes? When the truth about that figure finally came to light, it would change everything. Lily's heart raced as the crash echoed through the air, jolting the crowd from its vibrant chatter. Whispers began to ripple among the gathered neighbors, a mix of concern and confusion etched on their faces. Every eye shifted to the smoldering remains of the diner, now a painful reminder of their loss. Timmy clutched Lily's hand, his small fingers trembling. What was that? Was it the diner? The innocence in his voice filled her with both sorrow and determination. No, honey, she assured him, though her own heart felt uncertain. Let us go check it out together. Stay close. With each step toward the wreckage, the air thickened around her like fog. The man, Charlie, stood still as a statue, his eyes fixed on something just beyond the rubble. As they approached, she glimpsed a flicker of movement. A small wooden sign had fallen, hitting the ground hard enough to create the sound that had startled them all. It was a faded piece of the diner's history. The words "Welcome to Charlie's Diner," painted in bright red, were barely legible but still carried a weight. Charlie. Lily called, her voice cutting through the heavy silence. He turned to meet her gaze, eyes stormy and guarded. Is this yours? He nodded slowly, stepping toward the remains. I tried to save it, he said with a touch of regret. But it's all burnt up now. This was the heart of the place. Lily felt a pang of empathy for him, recognizing in that moment how deeply he must be feeling this loss. We're trying to rebuild, she said softly. Join us. We want to honor what was here. For the first time, Charlie's expression softened, just a fraction. You really think it can be brought back? Not just the diner, she replied, fueled by her own growing conviction. But the community, too. Together we can make it a place everyone remembers. He hesitated. People have forgotten me, though. No, Timmy chimed in, his voice clear and full of innocence. You just haven't shown them you care yet. Our pancakes will have your name on them, Charlie. And your diner too. Lily couldn't help but smile at Timmy's enthusiasm. It was pure, unfiltered hope, and it rippled out into the crowd. Whispers of agreement circulated as others began to take steps closer. Mrs. Marshall, Mr. Sam, and even some of the children drawn by Timmy's words. Finally, Charlie let out a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing slightly. If you really mean it, I might have some ideas. Our community center has some old tables and chairs we can donate. Lily felt a rush of joy. That's perfect. We'll include it in the pancake breakfast. Suddenly, the urgency in the air shifted. The skepticism that had surrounded Charlie began to lift as neighbors began to talk amongst themselves, new energy pulling the crowd tighter. Hope dangled in the air like a warm summer breeze. As they began to brainstorm, Charlie walked slowly toward the crowd, the faded sign in hand. He looked at each person with a hint of renewed hope. I never thought I'd have this again. Lily's phone buzzed in her pocket, breaking through the moment. She glanced down, recognizing the name on the screen. An unexpected call from her older brother, Jake. They hadn't spoken in a while. A mixture of awkward silences and unasked questions lay between them. "Excuse me for a minute," she said, stepping aside. But as she dialed, something twisted inside her. Would her brother be there for her now when she felt so grounded in the community? What would he think about all of this? The stillness from her phone call contrasted sharply with the vibrant movement behind her. Charlie was now fully engaged with the neighbors, sharing smiles and laughter, bridging the gap of isolation he had built. Lily hoped that her brother might feel something of this spark, some possibility. She took a deep breath and answered the call. "Hey, Jake." Just as she prepared to speak, a sudden crash echoed again, this time nearer. Panic flooded her veins. What could possibly happen next? If her brother was about to turn away again, would she be able to focus on anything else? With a sinking feeling, she turned to face the sounds as Charlie's eyes widened with alarm. What had just happened? Amidst the crackling chaos of doubts and determination, Harmony Falls stood at a precipice of something profound. Lily, heart pounding in rhythm with the distant echoes of hope, watched as Charlie's eyes flickered between the flickering embers of the past and the glimmers of a new future. What was that? He muttered, breaking the momentary silent tension. The air weighed heavy with uncertainty, every breath laced with worry. The crowd buzzed, shifting between fear and anticipation, as they awaited the unfolding of yet another crisis. From the corner of her eye, Lily noticed a group of men at the edge, their stance protective, ready to confront anything that threatened their community. Their expression said it all. Determination and resolve surged through the crowd, igniting sparks of unity. "Step back, everyone!" one of them yelled, and the crowd instinctively moved closer together, holding on tightly to hope as if the very act of clinging would guide their spirits through this darkness. Timmy, ever the vibrant spark of energy, tugged at Lily's sleeve, his eyes wide with concern. "Is Mr. Sam okay? We just saved him." His innocent question tightened Lily's heart, her own worries flaring again. "We need to protect him, and us," she reminded, steadying her voice as she locked eyes with Mr. Sam. He nodded, the determination reflected in his weary gaze. Slowly, he rose to his feet, leaning against the remnants of what was once the diner, and for the first time in a long while, he wasn't alone. Suddenly, an explosion of sound erupted from behind the collapsed diner. It wasn't a natural disaster, it was their neighbors working together to clear the rubble. What lay beneath was finally coming to light. The sight tugged at Lily's heart. What had felt instinctively overshadowed the weight, the struggle now framed the scene before her. Lily stood tall, her voice booming above the commotion. "We can do this together." She felt the energy unite in a shared understanding, every soul in that crowd realizing they were stronger as one. "Let us show Mr. Sam that the love he has shared with us can return to him." As Mrs. Marshall grabbed a megaphone, even in the midst of fear, she mirrored Lily's relentless spirit. "Listen up, everyone. Our goal is not just about rebuilding a diner but our shared family. The times that we've laughed, cried, and been there for each other, they start here." The rhythmic echoes of her words seemed to find their way into the hearts of the townsfolk. With that, the atmosphere shifted. Everyone turned to clear the rubble, hands reaching to lift, to protect. They were digging deeper not just into the debris, but the well-being of one another. In that moment, as voices rallied, Lily's gaze fell back on Charlie. Recognition crossed his face as he joined the movement toward the wreckage, his years of isolation lifting like fog under the warmth of a new sun. "What about those old tables?" Lily called to him, courage springing from her soul. "Every pancake breakfast needs a little charm." A smile broke through the remnants of his guarded demeanor, and Charlie, inspired by the galvanizing spirit around him, laughed for the first time in years. Just when the energy was reaching its peak, another loud crash echoed, drawing the crowd's attention to the darkened entrance of the diner. Panic seized fingers at the sight. What had they uncovered? Was it a hidden danger, or simply more rubble tumbling? But as the wisps of smoke danced into the crisp autumn air, more than just debris burst forth. A small stray kitten bolted from beneath the wreckage, its tiny paws scattering away from the chaos. Instinctively, the crowd's tension dissipated, gasps giving way to laughter at the unexpected presence. "That's our mascot!" Timmy shouted, giggling. Laughter erupted, the tender smile of joy breaking through the evening. Once again, Lily's heart sang with relief. "Look!" She pointed. "It's a sign, a reminder that life goes on, even amidst chaos." As the joy spread through the crowd, a new resolve filled Lily's heart. They would rebuild, revive the warmth buried under the ashes and create something even more beautiful than before. There was no room for doubt in a community ignited by love. Amidst all this change, the sirens from earlier faded, replaced by laughter and the seductive aroma of fresh pancakes wafting through the air. Lily caught sight of Mr. Sam, eyes glistening with hope as he witnessed his community come alive, ghosts of the past transforming into pillars of strength for tomorrow. "Lily," he said, voice filled with emotion, "thank you. This is all more than I could have ever asked for." She simply smiled, warming to the love that enveloped them all. In that moment, they understood, their diner had always been about more than just food. It was a home, a gathering place for stories, laughter, and connection. As her friends united around her and as folks labeled with indifference stepped forward to join, Lily realized this transformation was beginning to ripple through the heart of Harmony Falls. With eyes shining bright, she declared to all, "Let us make this a place where we celebrate each other. Every challenge we face together." Cheers erupted once again, cheers of recognition and unity, an echo of resilience reverberating within their hearts, and as the sun dipped behind the horizon, casting their small town into a golden glow, Lily smiled bright, filled with the promise of a new journey, a journey filled with compassion, understanding, and a love that could never be extinguished. Now is the time for you to step up and become part of this beautiful story. You need to subscribe now to not miss any exclusive tales like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us spread the message of kindness. Comment below your feelings about this heartwarming conclusion. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us keep this wave of love alive.